So, I don't know if you guys heard this, but apparently there's like a DLC for Shadows coming out next week. Little thing, you might have heard of it. It's called the Claws of Awaji. I don't think Ubisoft care because they haven't done any promoting of it. So, yep, just letting you guys know. So I am very tactically releasing this video on a Wednesday because I know that Ubisoft like to make announcements on either a Tuesday or a Thursday. Well, I'm recording this on a Tuesday, so I was expecting some news today because Ubisoft only ever release news primarily for Assassin's Creed on a Tuesday and Thursday. So if it's not today and you're seeing this on Wednesday, it means that there's likely going to be something on Thursday. And if not, this video will age even better. I'm giving it a good day to just exist because we've heard nothing, like literally the bare minimum about the Claws of Awaji, and today I just want to go through, like, why is this the case? Why is it we have a DLC that comes out on September 16th, I'm sitting here on September 9th, and there is, like, zero hype for it. I'm getting no trailers, no ads, there's no teasers or promos or even, like, any dev diaries explaining what we're going to get in the DLC. Where's the marketing? And I thought this was the case for the main game of Shadows, which definitely, after those delays, left it a long time before they decided to start promoting the game, and it pretty much got like 2 months of heavy promotion, we'll say. I think from January onwards, the marketing campaign for Shadows really escalated, and we got a proper full-on marketing campaign. We got some strange collabs, and we got teasers and trailers and TV spots and cinematic TV spots, and they did enough. I do think they did enough with the marketing for Shadows to the point where I recognised that it existed and was coming out. I mean, aside from being an Assassin's Creed fan, like, I would see it on posters and billboards and stuff, and it did exist for a little bit of time. Where is the Claws of Awaji? Where is the Claws of Awaji? Like, Indiana Jones got a DLC recently, the Great Circle, I can't remember what the DLC's called, but that got like a major push. I saw TV spots, I got YouTube ads for it. We might get a trailer tomorrow, and I do expect that. I expect to get a full trailer on Thursday, which details, a good majority of what we're going to get in the game, maybe some teasers at the story, the new factions, a proper deep dive into what we're getting, and then maybe some kind of cinematic trailer. That would be awesome. I mean, even back in like 2014, Unity Dead Kings, a free expansion, also got a cinematic trailer to promote the game. So it is in their possibility, and I hope that, we do get some sort of big promotional push for the Claws of Awaji. Or is it a case where they know that half of the players who pre-ordered this are just getting it for free, and all the people who didn't pre-order it? I don't know. Are you if you didn't pre-order Shadows, are you convinced to buy the Claws of Awaji? Because you probably don't even know it's coming out. And if you do you think there's enough content there? Because we don't even know the content that's there. We know that it takes place on an island. We know that there's a new sort of mechanic where we're getting hunted down instead of hunting after people, which is sort of expanding on what AC Rogue did with the assassins hunting you down. That's kind of cool. We know that we're actually getting the end of the story, which is insane, because Assassin's Creed Shadows, very famously, does not have an ending, and we are supposed to get the ending of the game right now, so there should be some semblance of hype. If Shadows was a well-told narrative, there would have been some hype right now for like, oh my god, we're going to find out how the game ends. We're going to get the big finale. This is like the third act of the game sold to us in a separate chunk. This should be a massive marketing push, and yet it's not. And it does make me question, why is it not? Why is it not getting this massive push? Why are they not advertising it as like the epic finale to Shadows? Which does have me worried, by the way, that this might not actually be the final part of the game, but instead just leads on to further in the roadmap. Maybe there won't actually be an ending to Shadows. We know that, Assassin's Creed Odyssey had some expansions that carried on its story after the fact. The main game did concretely end, and I really appreciated Odyssey for that. Same thing with Valhalla. Valhalla had like the whole Forgotten Saga. It had the Dawn of Ragnarok expansion. It had like the Siege of Paris, the Irish one. Can't remember what that one was called. Wrath of the Druids, that was it. But it also had something called the Final Chapter, where they sort of tied up all of the post-launch content into one neat bow. But imagine if Valhalla did not have a concrete ending, and it took 3 years to get the final chapter in order to finally wrap up what the game was going to be. If we have to wait 3 years to get the conclusion of Shadows. I mean, I don't think that is going to happen because Valhalla was a very unique situation. It was a pandemic sort of game that had time to have extra years of development. I don't think Shadows is going to get that. I think Shadows is going to be done within the year. I think by next April, or maybe a little bit later, maybe because we know Black Flag is probably going to get announced in the summer, I reckon Shadows is going to finish its sort of run by the summer. And I don't know, maybe there's time for a second expansion there where they're going to carry on the story a bit more, but it does worry me because is this the end of Shadows? Is this DLC, The Claws of Awaji, actually the final part of the game? Or do they have the audacity to try and sell us more? That is a big concern I have because otherwise I think this DLC should have had a lot more marketing behind it. And another reason that I'm worried about this is because, of course, we have heard through the Reddit AMA that happened last month that the future of Shadows hinges on the amount of players and the interest in continuing it. I feel like Shadows died off very quickly. It's a game that I do go back to. I've just bought a brand new PC so that I can actually play Shadows at above ultra low settings. Yes, I played through the entire story of Shadows on ultra low settings. Then they updated the game, and when they did that first update, I couldn't play the game at all. So I have been unable to properly play Assassin's Creed Shadows. I don't know how I did the Rufino quest line. That was an absolute stroke of luck because Shadows crashed immediately after I finished that DLC, so it was just so convenient that I got it done in time. But anyway, my point is, I have bought the PC for other games as well. I know I've had a few comments of people saying, why don't you play a better game? Why did you buy a PC just for Shadows? I did not buy a PC just for Shadows, but Shadows is one of the fortunate benefits of getting a proper modern PC. My worry is that I'm playing through Shadows at the minute, and I'm sort of rediscovering the game now that I can play it in high settings, 60 FPS, all that stuff. I'm enjoying the game, I'll be honest. I am just sort of cruising through it, doing some side quests, and I'm having a good time with it because I don't have to think about the narrative. I'm engaging with the gameplay, and I must admit, this is pretty good timing for The Claws of Awaji to come out because I'm sort of back in the Shadows sort of phase. But I'm probably one of the only people still in the Shadows phase because the community, I feel like, has dropped off, Shadows immediately. All of the YouTubers have gone back to making sort of legacy content, talking about the old Assassin's Creed games, myself included. I covered Shadows for maybe a month, and then I just went back to doing YouTube videos that I had planned before Shadows came out. And I don't think the hype's been there. I've came back every time they've done an update, and I haven't really been impressed too much aside from the Rufino storyline. Here's the problem. The Rufino storyline was done by a completely separate team that's doing The Claws of Awaji. The Claws of Awaji has been done by Ubisoft Bordeaux, who did the entire Assassin's Creed Mirage game. Now, I put out a poll a few weeks ago because I was very curious. After they announced that Mirage is also getting a free expansion, I wanted to see how people were feeling. So I did a poll, and I asked, what do you prefer? Are you more hyped for The Claws of Awaji or the Mirage DLC? And overwhelmingly, 85% said Mirage, which just tells me that specifically in my audience, the want for more Shadows content is not there. And I don't know if Ubisoft are trying to pivot away from Shadows because they are focusing on this Mirage DLC, and Shadows is not really getting much attention. And yeah, okay, if this was just DLC 1, and we knew that we were getting DLC 2, then maybe I wouldn't be too bothered about the fact that there's not much marketing. I pre-ordered the game, I'm getting this expansion for free, so I really shouldn't be bothered when it comes out. I don't care if it even gets delayed, because at this point, Shadows got delayed, and it came out in what I would say was a very stable state, and I thought the game visually looked amazing, apart from the faces, but that's a problem that Ubisoft had for a long time now. If The Claws of Awaji does need pushing back, and that's why we haven't had, any massive marketing push, then I think that is fair, Unless they're trusting that players of Shadows will come back, they will save the date, because if you go on Ubisoft's YouTube channel right now, the most recent video from Shadows is the summer update, which was it was months ago. We've had the entire second roadmap since then, and that roadmap, compared to the first half, I thought the first roadmap was solid. They did a lot of good updates, they did a lot of quality of life changes. The second roadmap just felt like they were filling time until the close of Awaji. And the problem is, we don't know what the third roadmap looks like. We don't know. Even though, you know, in the Reddit AMA, they were saying, oh, we're going to add legacy outfits as part of the projects tab. That's something that they could do at any point. It doesn't need to be part of the roadmap. And that worries me because if the close of Awaji does not do well, then Shadows is done, pretty much. We don't know if they're going to get any more support. If there's no demand for the game, I'm pretty certain that Ubisoft are just going to move these devs working on it still to something else. Maybe they'll move it on to the Black Flag remake and try and get that out a bit quicker. Who knows? But I am very worried about the close of Awaji, honestly. I wish that right now I could be sitting here making a video dissecting what to expect from it, but we don't know. We know that now his mum is in it, and they're after the box that nobody cares about, and nobody's really engaged with the story, and that, I don't know, what is there to talk about? I'm really hopeful that tomorrow I can see you guys again, and there will actually be a trailer to react to, and there will be some kind of news, because, like I say, Ubisoft usually release stuff on a Thursday. But they also sometimes do Saturdays, so there is a chance that it could come on Saturday. But there needs to be a trailer. There absolutely needs to be a trailer. If you don't see me in your feed tomorrow, it means that something is going very wrong. And if you don't see a Shadows video next week, or like going up to next week, I mean, they cannot just do a launch trailer for the Claws of Awaji, because nobody is going to watch that. We need something beforehand to actually get hyped for it. And I just, like, where's the deep dive on how the bow staff is going to work? Where's, like, just some behind the scenes on, like, how the devs decided upon this new faction? What's their designs like? What's their mentality? How are we going to approach, like, facing them? Do they have new combat moves? Like, what is the area like? What kind of... If I had not pre-ordered this, and I was not getting the expansion for free, I would want to know what I'm actually getting in it. Is it more of the same, or are we getting something that justifies the extra cost? Because I don't know how much this DLC is normally. Maybe I should have looked that up beforehand, but if it's anything over like £15, this needs to be, like, massive. This needs to be a massive expansion to the scale of, like, one of the Fate of Atlantis DLCs. Even one of those was absolutely huge and had so much content in it, to the point where I thought it was too much content and it bored the hell out of me. But we need something. We need something, some information to grasp on. So, look, this video might have came across like me just going, oh, please give me something to make a video on. But honestly, it's just because Shadows is a painful game. That is true. It does have a lot of things that are not going for it, and it did crash out and burn very quickly. You know, the longevity of the game I don't think has really been existent outside of the core fan base and the people who really connected with it. And there were people who really connected with it. But I think a lot of people dropped off, and this DLC has a lot to do to bring people back. It's been so long. Like, I feel like we should have had this DLC 2 months after launch. Like, they should have had this thing ready to go, because we haven't had any story continuation since. Like, aside from these little quests that aren't connected to the overarching story, Claws of Awaji has a big job to do. So what do you guys think of the Claws of Awaji? Are you excited for this? Did you know that it was coming out next week? Do you have any sort of thoughts on whether it's going to be good? I don't even know what to ask, because Ubisoft have given us nothing. So hopefully I will see you very soon, where we can finally unveil what the Claws of Awaji is like. But if we don't get that, I want to thank you guys for watching, of course. I do have other videos coming out in the meantime, so you might see me this week, but it won't be Shadows related. Of course, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more Assassin's Creed content, and I will see you guys in the next video.